So, what we're looking at today has a few things going on, right? We've got some racism issues, we've got some election security issues, all very concerning. So, what we have is a Facebook post. It was supposed to be a private post, which we'll get to. That's put up as a defense, which really is actually makes it a little more concerning. Gail Harrison Welch, who is the election commissioner in Jones County, Mississippi, ended up sharing a Facebook post, which, as you can see here, I'm an election commissioner in Jones County. I'm concerned about voter registration in Mississippi. The blacks are having lots of events for voter registration. People in Mississippi have got to get involved too. Thank you for all you do. Okay, so there's a couple of issues here. One, and maybe she's just not great at grammar, but if you read it closely, she's actually made a distinction between, already racist language, the blacks, right? So you've got the blacks versus people in Mississippi have to get involved too. So somehow there's a difference between the blacks and the people in Mississippi. That's already kind of gives you some insight into what's going on here. It's already bad. But remember, this is the election commissioner in Jones County, right? This is someone who's in charge of how these elections are going to go down. So she's been called out on this, and one of her defenses was, well, it was supposed to be private, which to me, much worse. What were you trying to accomplish if you were trying to send this message privately? At least if you intentionally sent it out publicly, then my interpretation is going to go, oh, you're just so ignorant of your own racism, you don't even get what a problem this is. But if it's being sent privately, what was the purpose of the private message? Right? To let the word out that, hey, black people are starting to register. We better get the white voter registration up too. And now she's coming out and saying, well, I just want everyone to be able to vote. Well, then explain to me, what is the point of this message? The way I interpret it, the whole point of the entire message is the registered black vote is getting too large. There's going to be too many black votes. That has to be countered. Someone has to do something about this. So I don't know who the intended recipient was, but this is very concerning. And it no matter what, right? This casts a shadow on Jones County's election results, right? We're all going to be wondering now, what's going on over here if the people in charge are trying to get to the word out to other people that white people better register and show up? It's very disconcerting that this is what's going on, right? And then she tries to cover it up and says, well, I just want everyone voting. Well, then why are black people ever mentioned in the message at all? What was the reason of mentioning black people if it wasn't to try to cause fear and raise some kind of an alarm? What was the point to any of it? Like, why did this message exist? If you take out the part about black people voting, there is nothing left, right? If you're just concerned about everyone voting, then your message is, hey guys, our voting numbers, our registration numbers are way below where they ought to be. Why doesn't everyone show up and vote? No, this is sending up a signal, a flare, saying, look, there's way too many black voters that are going to show up on election day. Okay. That's the point of this message. So you can't really cover it up. And her defense was, this was not intended to be anything. I didn't mean anything by it. I mean, that's exactly what happens when you have this sort of racism that we have. And I don't know her personally, but I just read the message and you'll see the racism there, right? There are still people in this country that think as long as you are not trying to hurt a black person physically, and you're not dropping the N-word, that somehow it's okay to be like this, to put out messages like this. And that is the problem. That is why racism is such a difficult question, because there are so many people in this country who think, well, I'm not racist. I've never supported the Klan. I've never done anything like that. And it's complete ignorance of all the ways that racism is totally baked into our system. It's baked into our law enforcement system. It's based into our prison system. It's based into housing and renting. There's so much there, but you can just ignore it and go, well, I'm not seeing it. I'm not supporting violence. I'm not doing these things, and not realizing that you're still supporting a racist system, especially, I mean, come on. There's no way around this. The blacks? I mean, come on. Who talks like that? Who says that? In 2020, people are still saying the blacks? I mean, what is the point? What are you trying to get at with that? Racism is a huge issue right now, and it's an important issue that needs to be addressed. We also have voting issues, right? I complain about voting issues all the time. We need every American citizen voting, all right? Anytime that we have an election and there is an American citizen who tried to exercise their right to vote and they don't get to, that's a black eye on all of us. And we do not get to stand on our high horse and tell the rest of the world about democracy and sit here believing our own exceptionalism that we are so amazing when we don't even allow all of our own citizens to vote. And here she is shooting out the flare to let other people know that there's an overabundance of black people registering, and so people better unite to balance that out. I'm all for everyone voting, but come on, this is not a message of I just want to get everyone to vote. This is a scared individual saying, what if too many black people vote? Oh my God, what's going to happen if all, the quote, the blacks vote? That she used here, that her language, not mine, that she used here. We should not be sitting here disappointed when people are registering to vote. Everyone should register to vote. In fact, I think voting registration should be automatic, right? Every person who is a citizen in this country should be automatically registered to vote. And I actually go so far as to think voting should be mandatory. I think you should be fined if you don't vote, right? Because then the onus wouldn't be put on poor neighborhoods and minority neighborhoods where we don't have sufficient resources in place for people to vote. It would be, look, you get it taken care of. This poor minority neighborhood, you better put voting stuff there so people can actually vote and exercise their rights to vote. Okay, this is upsetting. She's trying to play it off like it was just, she put her message out here poorly, but just read the thing, right? First of all, there's so much racism in it automatically, but there's no other way to interpret it. I see no other way of interpreting this message than fear that black people are going to turn out to vote this time, and that's going to turn out poorly for the whites in this area. Okay, so, I mean, there's no way around it here, right? That's all there is to this. Thanks for checking out the video. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can get all the new content as it becomes available, and we will see you in the future.